All right, well, it's been a year. I want to go over my love-hate relationship with the DJI Pocket 3. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. And yep, you heard it. We are going to go do a 1-year review of the Pocket 3. I've had it for, I'm going to say just a little over a year. Bought it in January of 2024. I thought, what better time to do a review of this camera after owning it for a year, give you my pros, my cons, all that kind of stuff. So we'll get right into that in just a second. But before we get to all that, don't forget, subscribe right down there, hit that subscribe button. Also check out all my affiliate links, which are all down there. And if you'd like to buy me or my wife a coffee, the link is in the description below. Man, I should have did this yesterday. It was like 60 something degrees yesterday. Now it's only like 38, man. But one other thing is, instead of the black mist, I am doing the snow mist from Freewell on this video. And I also have a glow mist that comes in a pair. So we're gonna do the snow mist first. What do y'all think about that? It's, I think probably a little different look. I don't know, there's no sun out or anything like that day. It's kind of cloudy. But hey, you know what? I thought, why not give it a try? I've had it sitting around for a couple days. You can check out the link in the description if you're interested in the snow mist or the glow mist. Figure we'll start with the snow mist and then we'll move over to the glow mist as we move along here. I've had this camera for, like I said, a little over 1 year, and it is kind of a love-hate relationship. It's just a fantastic camera, but there's are a few things that I would like to change on it. And we'll talk about those a little bit later. Oh, let me hurry. Get across the street. So I guess the way we'll start this out is we're gonna go over some cons first, and then we'll get to the pros. And then we'll talk about some of the stuff that I think they need to do to improve this camera a little bit. I don't know how much more you can improve it. And also, would I still buy this camera in 2025? All right, so one of the first cons, and I hear a lot of people talk about it, is that you cannot change the battery. It's not interchangeable. Now you can buy a battery pack for it, but you can't physically remove the battery, put a new one in. Some people think that's a con. For me, it's not really made that much of a difference. I really just have not had any situation where I needed more battery. But it would be nice to be able to do something like that. Now, like I said, you can buy that battery extension, but then that makes the camera way bigger than what it needs to be. Now, the next con, oh, okay, I got a red light. The next con is gonna have to be the field of view. You know, this is like equivalent to a 20 millimeter. I'd like to see something a little bit wider on the next version, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you can use a wide angle lens, which I think does degrade the quality a little bit. And also you can use an anamorphic lens. The one from K&F does a pretty fantastic job, and it seems like the quality is pretty intact. I myself enjoy that anamorphic look, and I'll probably use it more often. The only bad thing though is to use this snow mist. I cannot stack that anamorphic lens from K&F on top of this Freewell lens. Now you can get a Freewell anamorphic lens, but it comes in a full kit that you got to pay a lot of money for. I actually had bought that a while back and actually returned it because I just really didn't need everything else that was involved in that. Plus the one from Freewell is only a 1.1 times, and the one from K&F is a 1.2 times. So I don't know if this is so much a con, but I would love it if the gimbal on this thing went 360. You kind of get to certain spots and it can only go so far. I don't know about that. I wish they could do something different. I understand why they can't. It'd probably be really hard to do a 360 gimbal on this, but that would be kind of nice. I don't know if that's a real con or anything like that, but overall, it does kind of limit you a little bit of where you can move and what you can do, especially if you're standing this on a tripod or something like that, which is not something I do a whole lot of, and you want to move around a little bit. And the last con for me is the D-Log M and trying to color grade it. I'm gonna say, I started using DaVinci Resolve here recently, which I'm sure you know if you watch my videos. And it's like, I go out there and look for somebody that can tell me how to color grade this, and nobody does the same thing. It's crazy. I've probably watched 5 videos that they all do something different. Doesn't somebody just have one way to do this, which is the right way? I understand that D-Log M is not a true log color profile, but my goodness sakes. I think I watched one video where a guy said he uses Gamma 2.2, and the other one's a Rex 709. I'm trying to do my best with it, so we'll see how this one turns out. And here we go. Let's move on to the pros of this camera. There's so many of them. I've only listed like 4 or 5, but overall, this camera is just fantastic. But that brings me to my first pro, is the ease of use. If you want and you don't want to color grade, you can put this thing in normal color profile. Once you get it into post, you can just take that saturation down, maybe just a hair, maybe 10%, and it'll do fantastic. But as I've progressed, I really, wanted to try some color grading. But no, you don't have to do any color grading whatsoever. Just use normal color profile. That's what I love about this camera. So easy to use. Click it on and go. And then the next thing, of course, is that it'll hook to the mic 2, which I have right there under my shirt. And that really makes it easy. Now the internal mics in here are pretty good anyway, but when you can hook that mic 2 up to it and it'll just continue to hook up to it every time, it makes it that much better of a camera, and you makes your audio sound that much better. All right, so the next thing about this camera is it's compact and easy to carry. Now I have this little case right here. I've cut a hole in it so I can keep lenses like this on it, and you can find this down in my affiliate links. And with this thing right here, it just makes this camera so much nicer than using the actual case. Now the only thing I don't like about it is you can't carry no lenses with this. It would be cool if somebody came up with something like this and you could actually put some lenses and attach them to it, but that's okay. Other than that, pop this on here, turn this off, and you're good to go. You're definitely good to go. And you know what? I'm sitting here moving along. Let's switch this over to a glow mist from the snow mist. Now, that's one thing I really like about Freewell and any of these manufacturers, K&F and all of them. They give you these nice little cases. You can just throw your stuff in there, and these are kind of small, and they fit right in your pocket. So let's continue on here and talk some more about this camera. All right, next thing about this camera, it's very versatile, different stuff for it, a lot of different accessories. That's kind of going down a rabbit hole, and it's just like lenses for this thing. You can go down that rabbit hole, and man, I'll tell you what, although they're not that expensive, it's just like, how many more lenses or how much more stuff do I need? But what do you guys think about this glow mist that I have on right now? We're gonna turn this around real quick, but look at this tree coming down this river, man. Look at the size of that thing. Holy cow. I don't know, hopefully you can see that. I'll try to zoom in on it a little bit. Wow, that thing's huge. So the next thing I love about this camera, of course, is the image quality. For the size of the camera, it's not a true 1-inch sensor, but it's close enough. It does a fantastic job. I mean, it looks great. I've seen people out there that compared this to, full frame and APS-Cs and everything, and it holds its own, really. It really does hold its own. Is it perfect? No, but it looks pretty dang good. That's definitely one of the big pros about this camera, is the image quality. Next pro, and I also listed this as a con because it doesn't have an interchangeable battery, but I'm going to say that this battery in this camera is fantastic. I can come out here and do this type of vlog, walk around, do some time lapse, do a bunch of different things, and it holds up great. I mean, generally when I get back, I'm only probably sitting at like 60, 70%, something like that. which I'm thinking is really, really good for sometimes the amount of things that I do with this camera. And the fact that it's a fast charge up to like 80% or whatever it is, that's fantastic too. You can just have your battery pack, plug it in, give it 10, 15 minutes, and you're back up running again. Like I listed as a con, interchangeable battery. Does it really need it? Yeah, I don't know. Probably not, or at least I don't need it. I don't even have the battery pack for it, and I never seem to have any problems with it. And you know, the next thing, of course, is because this thing is a gimbal, stability's pretty nice. This thing does a fantastic job, keeps you pretty steady, and I don't know, I don't think I've ever had an issue out of it. I think sometimes maybe if I'm walking a little bit fast, it might get a little bumpy, but other than that, yeah, it works out perfect. All right, the last pro, and I talked about this a little bit earlier. Normal color profile is fantastic on this camera. Really, it's all you need. That works perfectly fine. Looks good. You may need to drop that saturation, maybe a few percentage points. That would be about it. But overall, the normal color profile does fantastic. All right, so we're done with all the pros and cons. Let's talk about, would I buy this camera in 2025? What is it? Probably a little over a year old. And I'm gonna say my answer is yes. I would still buy this camera. I know they're gonna come out with a Pocket 4. I don't think that's gonna probably happen till the end of this year, maybe. But let's really face it. Let's look at this. What are they gonna do on the Pocket 4 that they haven't done with the Pocket 3? I mean, they're probably not going to put a bigger sensor in this. I don't think they could get much bigger than this. If you did, then the camera would not be a pocket camera anymore. Maybe the only thing that they could do is upgrade the sensor on it, which, okay, that's fine. It's kind of what they did with the Action 4 to Action 5 Pro. But let's face it, there's nothing wrong with this sensor. It works great, and the image quality, as I said earlier, is fantastic. That's what I'm not sure what they could do. Bring the resolution up to 6K. Although, really, do you need 6K? I mean, most people are looking on their phones, which are going to be 1080p, 4K at the best. So once again, would I buy this camera in 2025? I sure would. And I can't say it enough. It's a fantastic camera. Works great. All right, let's talk about a little bit of what I'd like to see improved on this camera, or maybe a few changes that they could do for the Pocket 4. First thing, field of view, as I talked earlier, one of the cons, you know, make it an 18mm. Get it a little bit wider so we don't have to use a wide angle lens. Although the anamorphic, I really like that, as I've said earlier, so that's fine with me. But when you put all these lenses on top of this camera, then it doesn't want to close on itself. It's harder to store. You have to remove them, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's just kind of a pain. So it would be nice to see this camera maybe get to the 18mm equivalent, somewhere around there. Maybe an interchangeable battery, but that's not something that I really care about. Don't really matter, but for some people that makes a difference. And I don't know what else I would want to improve on this. Maybe let the gimbal head go 360. That might be something good. I don't know if you could do that, but that would be pretty awesome. And probably the only other thing I could think of is to make it a true log color profile, so it's either easier to color grade. That would be something that'd be really nice, because I am tired of watching a million different videos of people telling me how to color grade this stuff, and everybody's different. It kind of makes it tough. You know, DaVinci's a learning curve as it is, but then to have to actually go through and watch all these different videos, yeah, sometimes it just gives you a headache. But I would like to see that. I would like to see a true log color profile. All right, well, that's it. That's all I got. Like I said, I would definitely buy this camera today in 2025. Fantastic camera, works great. Does it have some quirks? Sure. But most importantly, it gives good quality video, and it's just super easy to use. Just so simple. Click it on and go. But that's it. So as always, be safe out there. Take care, and we will catch you next time.